Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Viz 55. It's the Tier 10 Czech heavy tank. It's located on the south spawn of Siegfried Line, and it's under the command of Awppenheimer. And in platoon with him is Jiffy and Rapturing as usual. Well, that's not his name, Rapturing as usual, but you know, Rapturing is his name. Okay. Well, the confusion's all wrapped up. It's a 13cm gun mounted on a design which is a combination of Soviet and Czech technology. It's got a 2-shot autoloader capable of 490 output, penetrating 260mm of armor with the standard rounds. And you can see that Oppenheimer's loaded the premium rounds straight away. He's going for it right from the start. Oh, he's bounced around from a Leopard, but he got rammed in the rear there by one of his teammates. And, well, he's collected 2 hits, one on the AMX M454 and one on the Supercon. And I think one of the enemy tanks is about to come around the corner. Now, who is it? Oh, yep, the AMX M454. Put it back. It was the chieftain who actually bumped him, not one of his platoon mates. He was just trying to get into that position so he could use his gun depression and cover his lower plate. Okay. Now this tank doesn't have a whole lot of weak spots. Very difficult to actually take out of this 55. You can of course use Arty to take it down with the expression of a lot of HE on him, but as you can see, 2 rounds bounced off the lower plate. Oh, look at that! FV215B took 1 round and he took the second one as well, but we took a round from the Supercon, who managed to get in 425 hit points on us. So that was expensive, but it was even more expensive for the FV215B, and he's now out of the game because Cranbarn on our team managed to kill. Standard reload is 21.09 seconds. Oh, we got the second one in on the Supercon as well. 999 hit points from the 2 shots. Yes, Oppenheimer's got a reload time of 19.34 seconds, opposed to the 21.09 for the book. Now, Oppenheimer did send in a lot of replays recently. One of the reasons why I haven't been able to do them was mainly down to the fact, oh, easy shots there. 2-second intra-clip reload, incredibly fast, and that's why you're able to get a huge amount of damage. The basic alpha would be 980, and he just took a round from the T95 FB4201, who wasn't happy about being hit. Now, our FB4201 has tracked the Cranbarn, and that's the end of his game. Nice opportunity there, especially after the chieftain blocked us, well, not blocked us, but oh, and now we know where the enemy Arty is. He's right over in the corner, so we marked that one on the mini map, and he has done that. Good. So he's saying that's where the enemy Arty is, right over in the corner. He needs to deal with that 261 because he could do a lot of damage. Cost us 343 hit points from that shot, and we're shifting position. Oh, we managed to block a shot from the Supercon, which I think went into the tracks. Okay, we're loaded, ready to go. AMX M454, he knows we're here, but he's probably going to just hit the tracks if he does fire. Hello, Mr. Cranbarn. Oh, it's the M4, sorry. Goes for the upper plate, and our Heshbon decides to try and butt in. Yeah, not going to impress anyone blocking our second shot like that. Well, it's a fairly even battle so far. Both teams have got 7 kills. Ooh, Supercon count there. Again, put around into the tracks, but that Progetto's doomed. Yep, nice shot. Pop the reload. He's only fired 1. He has been firing a lot of APCR. He did pop the reload. Okay, Jiffy's already out of the game. Didn't see what happened to him. We do know that Rapturing is out the field with an Object 140 at the moment. The enemy Arty is actually focusing on him. And so I think we're going to give him a hand by taking out this Leopard. Hello! One shot in, and there's the second one to kill. That's what this gun does. If it can catch a tank unawares, it can knock out 1,000 hit points off them. And if they're already weakened, that will take them out of the game. It looks like both enemy Arty are in the corner. Oh, and the back chat fires. Oh, it's the 261 fires his second round in. Well, we must have been hit by the 155-58. His first shot goes into the Superconk, second shot goes in, and it looks like Rapturing just got the kill. In fact, he didn't just get the kill there, he also got the kill on the Superconk as well. Okay, there's the 261. He's still firing at us, still doing damage, but he is taking damage now from Rapturing. This could be a kill shot, and it is. So 4 kills now for Awppenheimer, 3 kills for Rapturing, and that is the end of the game. Well, the end of the first game, that is. Yes, that's the end of the first game because it's a 2 replay video. A first-class tanker for Awppenheimer in the Viz-55. He managed to get a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle. A fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly in this game, as well as a sharpshooter for getting 10 or more consecutive hits on the enemy. A bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 9 in this one. And he also got a Hand of God for surviving the battle, having received damage from 4 different enemy tanks. A high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game overall, and a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. And that's despite the fact that he actually got 4 kills, which means he had to have killed at least, or hit at least 10 enemy vehicles to actually get that Confederate medal. His win rate, 8,898, which is super unicum and a lot more. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he's definitely high caliber because look at that, 6,481 hit points of damage in a tier 10 game. The second highest damage went to the Leopard 1 on the enemy team, who've got 4,719. Is that the one that he killed? It's not the one that he killed, but it's one that he did hit during the battle. I'll go back to the details again. And the third highest damage turns out to be the VK7201K, Mr. Mike Steele. What a name. 3,670 hit points of damage went to him. We can see that Rapturing got 2,783 hit points out in the field. And Jiffy, well, he only got 1,329 before his Leopard was taken down. When it came to kills, yep, he's got that one. Awppenheimer got 4 kills out of that game. 3 kills went to Rapturing, and they were the first and second place. So the third place went to the FV4005, the Crab Barn on his own team. So that FV4005 who butted in front of us did actually get 2 kills. And so did the Death Star on the enemy team, the FV215B183. When it came to base XP, yep, Awppenheimer's got that one. He's the only one to get over 1,000 in that game. 1,184 went to him. 962 went to Rapturing. 865 went to the VK7201K. And we can see Jiffy way down. So he must have been killed early on in the game to get such a low base XP. That's unfortunate. Let's have a look at detail. 18 shots fired, 17 direct hits on the enemy, 16 penetrations, damage of 6,481 hit points, of which 692 were at more than 300 meters. So there was only that one shot I think he fired at the one of the enemy tanks out in the field, the Progetto 65, that was right. And of course he did fire at the Arty as well in the field. So those were the 2 long shots. 8 enemy hits received, 2 of them were penetrations, 5 non-penetrations, and 4 hits by way of splash damage. The enemy Arty was focusing on him, and they were right to do so because he was the best player on his team. So they were focusing on the person who actually could do the most damage to their teammates. 2,180 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 3 enemy vehicles spotted, 10 enemy vehicles damaged, and 4 kills. So yes, he did hit 10. Because it's the only way you could get a Confederate. 209 hit points of damage assistance. He earned 80,994 credits for the battle on a premium count, 40,497 from personal reserves, same again for mission completion, 161,988 credits altogether. And after repair, ammunition, resupply, and consumables, and despite the fact that he was firing a lot of APCR in that game, he still came away with a profit of 9,297 credits. But if he'd been playing on a free-to-play account, he would have made a loss. 7 bonds, because it was tier 10, 1,776 XP, 7,992 for mission completion, 1,776 again from personal reserves, took away 11,544 experience points altogether. So the Viz 55, it's quite a beast actually. It's also very difficult to take down. When I first saw one of these, I thought, how the hell am I supposed to bring one of these down? I aimed for the usual bits that most people will actually aim for, and I didn't get anywhere. It's got these brows, these blocks of armor, additional armor put onto the turret, and they are very effective. You can see here, you're more likely going to bounce a shell off them, but even if they don't, it's a combination of 180 millimeters from the actual turret and 70 millimeters from the actual brow, and the effective armor is coming out at something like 330 or thereabouts. So it's very difficult to get a shell through. Even on the front, just underneath the matlet there, you can see it's 300 millimeters of armor on the actual turret. So it's graded armor. It gets weaker as you go further around, but these brows make up for the difference. And in fact, you'll find a lot of the Soviet tanks that happen to be in combat at this moment do have either brow systems fitted to them, or did have them, or have had them fitted afterwards, as well as all the explosive reactive armor that they've put on since. In fact, actually, if you look at this tank, you think, well, where do I go? Where do I aim in order to get the shell through? Well, you'd think that this area would be the area to go through because it's green, but actually be wrong, because that's got an auto ricochet because of the angle. I'm afraid the angle is just too great. 66 degrees rather. Even though it's only 52 millimeters, the shell's just going to ricochet straight off. So what you aim for is these cupolas, where it's only 170 millimeters there of impacted and effective armor. And the same on this one, except that's 200 millimeters with 200 millimeters effective armor. You might be able to get it through if you go for the corners of the cupola, but you're much better off aiming either for this one here or to that one there on the front plate, just to make sure. There is a weak spot on the upper plate, which is only 115 millimeters impacted armor. That's the driver's viewports area. But again, it's coming out at effective armor of 245.9, mainly because it's so well angled. Just look at that raking angle there. It's more than likely going to deflect the shot. The lower plate is a weak spot as well. 114 millimeters impacted armor, but it's coming out at 201. So you take your money and pays your choice. You can either aim for the lower plate, and you'll find it tough, or you can aim for the cupola. Normally, the lower plate will be hidden, so you would want to go for the cupola. You want to go for the left cupola, even though it's the smallest. That's the weakest one, and you're much more likely to penetrate. If you're going for an angled tank, you want to go for this spot here, because again, it's only 140 millimeters of armor, but with the effective angling and everything, it pops up to about 200. If you can go through the sides of the vehicle, because it's only 90 millimeters. Again, the armor is all at the front of the vehicle, not much at the rear. So if you go for the sides a little further back, it's only 90 millimeters. You should be able to penetrate an effective armor of about 160. Same on the turret. The armor gets weaker the further back you go. You can see here it's showing 140, but that's because the angling, it actually comes at 150 there. 140, 150, but the effective armor, it's about the same actually. It's only when you get to the bustle that it goes down to 100 millimeters. Arty, well, you're going to have a tough job, but you could penetrate that. 40 millimeters. I think the enemy Arty in this game was actually just trying to impede Awppenheimer from doing any further damage by disabling him and keeping him in spot and hitting with enough HE that he could bring him down. That engine deck is very tempting. It's only 30 millimeters of armor, so it's very easy to penetrate. The rear of the vehicle, again, is fairly weak. 85 millimeters coming up to 94. But it's still a tough tank to bring down, the Viz 55, and I have seen them destroyed just by going for the cupola. In fact, I've seen Awppenheimer destroy Viz 55s in his Viz 55 simply because the enemy tanker wasn't using the right ammo. He was using standard AP, and of course Awppenheimer was using the APCR. It went straight through the cupolas on the enemy tank. Let's have a quick look at the live. You can see If you angle this tank, it makes it very difficult to penetrate through the front, but it makes it easier to penetrate through the sides. The brows, yeah, anything around here, not going to pen there. The cupola is about all you can get, really. If they're hull down, it's going to be very, very difficult. You can get through the frontal armor with the APCR rounds, so that is possible. But in fact, I think if we look at the APCR, you can see that with APCR, there are some options to get the penetrating through, because the APCR, I didn't mention it at the time, it's 306 millimeters of pen, so you can get through that frontal plate if you can see it, if you load the gold, so to speak. Anyway, let's have a look at the modules. There are none. Yes, I'm afraid Wargaming have not provided the modules, but I think we can take a reasonable guess as to where everyone is. We know that the driver is sitting in the front at the center. We know that the gunner is using that gun sight there. We know the commander is sitting behind him in that one, and we know that the loader is over that side. So yes, we know where the people are. We know that the engine is at the back. We don't know where the fuel tanks are, and we can probably take a guess that since the loader's on the opposite side of the vehicle, so I turn the vehicle around, and that's the loader's hatch, then the ammunition will probably be in the bustle there. So although I did say the bustle, it's got about 100 millimeters of armor from the sides, you're much better off firing at it from the rear to try and take it down and try and get an ammo rack. But if you're going for the rear, you might as well just go for the engine and knock him out that way and then bring him down. So that's the modules of the VIS-55. That's all I can show you. So that's the end of the first battle. Let's have a look at the second battle that Awppenheimer played in the VIS-55. Surprisingly, the second replay is from the same spawn point on the same map. Yes, he's back on Siegfried Line. Game on. Unfortunately, this time round, he doesn't have the help of Jiffy or Rapturing because they've entered into a different battle, or they're not playing with tonight. You see, it is actually quite an impressive tank. I think that's a skin that they've added to it. Looks like that's a mortar tube or a rocket on the back. Okay. Same tactics as before. Head up to see if you can spot any enemy tanks, and yes, he spots the Centurion 7-1. He's entered into a tier 10 game with tier 9 tanks in it. The Centurion 7-1 is a British tier 9 medium. Can't get the shot onto the TNH. The rubble gets in the way there. Unfortunate. Missed the opportunity there. He's not going to move up just yet, because if he does, there might be somebody going through the central road. The Centurion just couldn't penetrate there, and he's using the L7 as well. Oh, did get the T10 though, and pumps one through his front track, and we took one in the track from the L7-1. Yes, I think the Centurion 7-1's got the L7 105mm at least. I think it has. The block damage was 390. Yeah, I think that is the 105mm L7A1. Nice! Got the A group. Get the second shot into the A group. Blocked the shot on the TNH VIS-51. I suspect that that one went into the tracks and just got eaten up. Okay, he's almost reloaded. Yes, he was waiting for that shot with this. Takes that one in though. You notice he's aiming the shells between the tracks, so the shell misses the tracks altogether, just goes ploughing straight through the side of that tank. Oh, yeah, took another one in the tracks, and the VIS-68 behind him is not helping. It's kind of blocking there. You notice where they're actually aiming for as well. They're going for the big cupola, not the small one. Okay, TNH VIS-51 popped out for a moment. I think that one hit the turret. Is he going to pop the reload? Pop the reload. So it's worth doing. Yeah, I think you've held it too long. Pop the reload. He's having a look round. Yeah, he's popped the reload. Oh well, no, I mean, Honestly, any player who's actually under the stress of an actual battle probably wouldn't think of doing that. They think, yeah, I can get that second round in. But in actual fact, you're much better off just popping the reload, popping back in, and look, there's the Centurion. He pulled that one back quickly. Centurion was trying to use his 10 degrees of gun depression there. And unfortunately, he's lost a high roll there for 503. And we're moving. Are we moving? No, we're not. We're pulling back. Oh. And Centurion fell off his shot. Now we've got a T110E3 moving up. This will be interesting. Okay, low plate. Yes. Put that second round to use. Centurion's being cagey. Doesn't want to pop out. Oh! Well, he got the observation port, but we're going for the lower plates, and the E3 is going to eat these. Yep. Nice. You got a high roll on the first one, and the second one was blocked, I think, from the E3. 483 from the last one, which is a low roll. Oh. And he took one there, unfortunately. I suspect that may have been lower plate. Yes, it was. Just on the edge of the lower plate. Okay, TNH has moved. He's actually going parallel to us at the moment. That one hit him in the tracks. And he's fixed his tracks, pulled back. The TNH T-Viz 51 got taken out by our Death Star. So he's not a worry. We're going to turn around and go elsewhere. Yes! T-30. Oh! It went off the top of the roof. And that allows the Centurion to move up. Hello, Mr. Centurion. And he takes one hit because we've only got one shell left after the C-30. But the Centurion is down to a one shot and he's gone. The Death Star gets him as well. So our Guardian Angel, who's right out at the back end of the map, right in the south, saved us from a long distance away. And Awppenheimer makes a kind of gateway there for him to move on, and the T-30's taken up position over here now. Side of the turret and blocked the shot that came from the T-30. He pumps one into the E-100, blocks the shot that came from the E-100 as well. Will he pull back in time? Yes, he will. And now he's potentially got a steel wall as well if he survives the battle. We're 2 down on the enemy at the moment, so it's not going well, but we're up on hit points. Okay, T-30's made a bit of a overconfident there. That's one. This is the end of his game. Okay, now reload and we can go after the E-100. I think they were overconfident with that, and the E3's now made himself vulnerable. He's gone down into this passageway, and we can probably pump rounds into his lower plate. Hello, Mr. E3. Hello. Yep. He's out the game. They're overconfident. And Awppenheimer's picking them off with the help of that Death Star back in the distance. Way at the back of the map. He's spotting for that guy. And of course, that means he's earning spotting assists. Only 829, but they were crucial because they were 2 kills. Okay, there's a Leopard up there. He's pulling back. We've got a Skoda T50. Out the field. The IS-4's managed to come through just around the corner, but he's very low on hit points. We're safe in that direction for the moment. Okay, IS-4, low hit points. He's distracted. I think he just fired. So we can go through. Oh, lower plate, lower plate, lower plate, lower plate. And he's gone. The kill shot went to the BC-68. Okay, there's a T10 and a Charm Mini 75. There's the T10. We can get a shot through the arches, but I think he realised that he was exposed there. The Charm Mini 75 has gone, so it's just the T10, and there's the Skoda in the distance. Well, 2 shots, thank you very much. Yep, nice. Good amount of damage from that. Now we have to hide from the T10 momentarily. Okay, T10's overcommitted and got wiped out. T10 was taken out by our Leopard 1. And now we've got the Jaeger, who's low on health. There's only 2 enemies left. The Jaeger and the Leopard. Oh, been proxy spotted. I think it's it's the Leopard who spotted this. It wasn't a proxy. Although the Jaeger is to our right. There's the Leopard. It's just over the hill. We can probably come around behind the Jaeger. Okay, let's just go after the Leopard now. Hello, 1 shot in. Go for the second one. Gets it in. Everybody's piling in on this Leopard. And he's out the game, and that's a victory. That was a first ace tanker for Awppenheimer in the Viz 55. The standard's incredibly high, but Awppenheimer matched it. He's got his first ace. You can tell it's the first one because he's got the scrolls underneath. You only get that the first time. He got a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. Sharpshooter for getting 10 or more consecutive shots on the enemy. A shell-proof for blocking more damage than the hit points of your own vehicle. And a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8. He got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game, and I'd be shocked if he didn't get it because he did a huge amount of damage on the enemy. He also got a Confederate again for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team, and he got that steel wall as well for blocking the most damage in that game, at least 11 hits and surviving the battle. 9,973 was the win rate, even higher than the last time. If you remember the last time, it was 8,898. Well, this time 9,973. Let's have a look at team score. 9,500 hit points of damage in that one. Yes, he really beat the enemy because, in fact, actually, the highest on the enemy team was the second place, and he only had 4,119. And the third place guy was the other Viz 55 on Awppenheimer's team, who had 3,995. He really showed them how deadly this tank can be in the right position, and he was exactly in the right place to deal the damage on the enemy. When it came to the highest number of kills, though, that actually went to the Leopard 1 and the Death Star who was behind him. Yes, the Death Star, off in the distance, right at the back of the map, was shooting rounds directly into the enemy that Awppenheimer was spotting. And in fact, actually, 2 of those kills were directly as a result of the spotting that Awppenheimer was making. The others, well, that was Awppenheimer in joint second place. He's with the Viz 55, the BZ68, the Leopard 1, and on the enemy team, their Leopard 1, their Jaeger, and their IS-4 all had 2 kills. When it came to base XP, it's Awppenheimer. Yes, with damage like that, you'd expect him to get the highest base XP. But that's what it takes to get an ace tanker. Look at that, 1,430 base XP to get an ace tanker. It shows the standard on the Viz 55 is incredibly high. So it's an achievement in its own right just to get an ace tanker in this vehicle. 944 went to the BZ68. 938 went to the Striv 1030. Wow. Let's have a look at detail. 23 shots fired, 23 direct hits. Every shot he fired hit the target, but not every shot that he fired actually penetrated the target. He did only get 20 penetrations, so 3 shots didn't make it through the armor. 9,500 hit points of damage, of which 428 were at more than 300 meters. 13 hits received from the enemy, 2 of them penned, 11 non-pens. Most of those came from the Centurion, who was firing his L7A1 gun into the tracks on Awppenheimer's tank and just not getting it through. He was trying desperately to get one in, and he did get one eventually, but he just wasn't accurate enough to actually get the lower plates enough times. 5,320 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 4 enemy vehicles spotted, 9 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 killed, 829 hit points of damage assistance. He earned 119,870 credits on a premium count from that game, but he fired a huge amount of APCR ammo. He was desperately trying to get as much damage as he could just to get the ace tanker, and as a consequence, he actually only ended up with a loss of 3,548 credits. But I'm sure he won't be worried about the amount of damage or the amount of shells that he fired to get that. He's just happy to get his first ace on that tank. 7 bonds being tier 10, 2,145 XP for the battle, times 2 for the first victory, 6,500 for completing a mission, 2,145 from personal reserve bonus. He took away 12,935 experience points from that battle alone. So a fantastic game there by Awppenheimer, and a really difficult tank to play because so many people have this tank, but they don't know how to play it well. And only a select few who do know how to do it have made the scores so high in order for you to get an ace tanker. You really have to go some if you're going to do it. You have to get something like 9,500 hit points of damage and be the principal player of the battle, the most valuable player of the battle, in order just to get the ace tanker. So heaven knows what it's like to try and mark one of these. Try and 3 mark it, well, yes, an achievement in its own right. If you enjoyed those 2 replays, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.